Hello, I'm Dr. Ruth Roberts, your pet's ally. I hope that everyone is well and chilling out. I hope you caught the broadcast I just did. Yeah, it's just a matter of dispelling fear. Because it's serious, right? But there's just so much fear going on out there, and it's just not helpful for anyone. The other thing I meant to touch on too is there was a report some time ago probably about a week ago, about a dog that had tested mild positive for COVID-19. And what's happened with that is basically nothing. So it's simply like many other things. For instance, you can give your dog whooping cough. They don't seem, which is Bordetella pertussans, they don't seem to be able to give us Bordetella bronchoseptica. So that dog tested positive, but he was living with a person that had the active virus. So does that mean that dogs could be an active host? Probably not. I think but there you go. So don't freak out, because there's a lot of people that are trying to whip that up too. So that's all good stuff. Exciting news. We do have the website up. It is still got a little bit work to do, but the beautiful thing is that this layout, I think, is going to make you guys really happy. And then the other thing is that the new course page, and again, we still do have a little bit of work to do, but the new course page has got a much cleaner layout. This is going to go away from the menu. If you click on this, it is a dead link. So just, you can go play with that if you want to, but this is where you'll, be able to access all of the information about your courses, about your account. The other really cool thing is that we will get groups set up. And what that means is that if you don't have social media accounts and you do not want to have social media accounts, this is where you can go back and forth and talk to people, just as if you had this lovely Facebook account. So that's where this link is. We've still got a few things to fix, and one of them is that this page does not work, this landing page. So we'll get you that info, but we're set up, getting that subscription service set up and ready to roll. So I'll announce that, let you know when everything is working just peachy. So very exciting. That was an interesting process. It never goes quite as expected, but it actually went as beautifully as could possibly be. So we've got several questions, and one is from Lolly, who's a Airedale diehard, and so they have found a breeder they felt really comfortable with, and so they're going to be getting a new puppy. Let's see, if the litter was just born on Sunday, probably about in the first week of May, she says, to join the 3 Scotties. So that ought to be an interesting Mutt and Jeff show, and I suspect that the Scotties will be in charge. So there's a couple of questions she has about feeding a puppy, and especially a large breed puppy, and this is a tough one. So they're going to use Fromm's kibble, and I think that's not a bad idea, and then some CrockPet Diet, but he's going to need a high-calorie diet because he'll need about 1,500 calories a day, just because he's growing and is going to be a really high-energy breed. And I think that's probably correct. So she's trying to figure out how would she make the CrockPet Diet a little higher calorie without compromising the balance of the diet. And so, Lolly, the easiest way to do that is to add fat. So if and a lot of people end up doing this with large breed dogs, is just, feeding a half CrockPet, half kibble, and then sort of making up the difference. I know people that have fed large breed puppies solely CrockPet Diet, and it's been some work, but they've been able to keep up with it. So think about this way. A tablespoon of oil is somewhere between 100 and 120 calories per tablespoon. So what you want to do first with any new puppy is just keep them eating and sort of transition slowly from whatever the breeder was feeding, hopefully that's Fromm's as well, onto what you're going to be feeding. So first step, if you have to transition the dry food, is do that. Second step is to start adding in CrockPet Diet. And if 1 cup of CrockPet Diet is about 250 calories, there's a couple of ways you can bump up the caloric intake. So one is fat, as I mentioned. A tablespoon will add about 100 to 120 calories. So coconut oil tends to be on the 120 calorie end. Olive oil tends to be closer to 100 calories. So you can add that in, and then the other thing is you can add in more cooked carbohydrates. So as I've said about our dog Esau, who was an English setter, that dog, no kidding, ran from sunup to sundown. He would go out in the morning for a first run and then come back in. They had a dog door so they could go in and out all day. But we had to feed him 8 cups a day to keep him at 46 pounds, and he still looked on a thin side. And speaking of that, that's another thing for large breed dogs to help protect their joints. Don't let them run all night and day, because that's going to impact the need to have joint issues later. And then the second thing is that it's going to be necessary to and I'm sorry, I totally lost my train of thought. So at any rate, the second thing is that it's important to keep them on the thin side so that, again, we keep the bones and joints growing. We don't overload them with muscle, and keep them happy and healthy to protect those joints as they age. So feed half and half. You can feed all cooked food, but for Esau we had to do a combination of an extra tablespoon of fat per meal, plus an extra 2 cups of 1 cup of carbohydrate, 3 cups of CrockPet food. So that's how we worked. Now, Julie was asking, I feed my dogs raw. Why do I cook when you don't have to? And Julie, there's a couple of reasons. One is that for many people, raw food doesn't work. What they see is that they start cooking and their pets actually start looking a lot better. The second is sustainability. So dogs and cats currently eat something like 25 to 30% of all the meat produced in the United States. If we feed more raw food, we're going to push that number to 50%. And if that is our number one source of greenhouse gases, that's not good for the environment. The second thing is that takes food out of other people's mouths and drives the price up of it. So I think that the notion that raw is the ancestral diet is true for 2 progenitor species prior to both Canis familiaris and Homo sapiens. I think if we started to try and eat a raw diet, which is what most people, what our literal ancestors did, gathered some grains and things of that nature and ate raw meat because they couldn't cook, that wouldn't go over too well. And in fact, what we found is that cooking, even it does reduce the total number of nutrients available. It actually makes them be presented to us and to our pets in a more absorbable form. So I hope that helps. And Lolly's saying that she's going to be putting him on the CrockPet diet with no kibble. Once he reaches a year, he'll be on kibble with a little CrockPet till he's 1. So I think, Lolly, what you'll find is that actually the caloric need is also when he is growing, because it's estimated that puppies and kittens need something like 40 to 50% more calories than adult animals of that same weight, because they're making more puppy. So you're going to be pushed for calories kind of all the way through until about 18 months to 2 years of age. So that's what I have for you there. Let's pop over to the CrockPet page and let's see here. So there's the link for the course area, so check that out when you have a chance. that was the broadcast from today. And then, Julie, I don't know why you're in my group. Thank you, because you're not supposed to be here. And yes, I do know what I'm talking about. Okay, at any rate, so here's a video from Caroline Frenette, who I had the pleasure of meeting and talking with last week, and her crew eating. And it's just, I mean, they're having a ball with it, so rock on. Jan is saying that her pups love them as well, but and Miriam's saying the same thing. So sounds like everybody's pretty happy there. And Angie is wondering why she's having problems logging into the member section, and it's because the site was down. So Angie, it should be back up, and you should be able to log in. If you are unable to do that, then just let me know. We're still working on getting everything kind of ironed out, but you should be able to log in and get into the site with no issues. So let me put the support email in here, and then also Hannah is monitoring the this page, so if you need help, just hit #admin and put that in your comments and she'll help you out. So again, Angie, the site's a little bit different. This area is not going to work, but you should see something that says log in over on this side, and then you should be able to log in there without a problem, and then head over to the courses. And let me pop back over there for a second. And here's the CrockPet Diet. So you should be able to get started in there without a problem. So I hope that's helpful. I'm really excited about this, guys, because this site has been the bane of my existence for a bit, and I think you're going to have a much, much better experience here. So Jamie is saying her youngest has a dust mite allergy, and I know you've been struggling mightily with the allergy stuff. So I would definitely keep going with what you're doing. I know I don't like Apoquel, but it beats steroids and antibiotics and all that stuff. So again, if you've stopped grains to see if that made things better, what you can do, remember, if you take something out, you got to put something back in. So if you're going to add in about a 1/4 cup of grains for your senior dog, and your junior dog needs a little extra calories, you can do a couple of things. Again, you could use a starch like the potatoes, sweet potatoes, butternut squash, and then you can also add in fat. So I think a cup of cooked rice is pretty close to 120 calories. And so again, that's going to be about a 1/4 teaspoon of fat to add back in. So Jamie, I hope that helps. And then, as Debbie says, just take them out. If your older guy is doing well, fantastic. If your younger guy is really dropping weight, then add the fat in or add in some other starch source. So let's see here if we've got some other questions. And actually, that's kind of it for today, y'all. So thanks so much. We'll be really excited to get the new site up and at 'em and working well. In the meantime, take good care, stay safe, keep washing your hands. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to show you too, and I put this up in the other broadcast, but for those of you that are Dune fans, I thought this was hilarious, and this is certainly going around on the internet. But yeah, it's the Litany Against Fear, the Bene Gesserit prayer. So that's what I've got. Y'all take good care. I will see you next week, and until then, remember, your pet's best health starts in the bowl. Thanks.